Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 2 versus 2 on Pointe du Hoc, and again I'm going to be playing with Val. This is a 2 versus 2 ranked game where I'm going to be playing the 101st Airborne, and Val's going to be using the 3rd Canadian Infantry. It's pretty much our allied setup most of the time. 101st and 3rd is quite a nice combination, I feel, in general. If we're playing on the Axis side of things, it would normally be obviously 716th and whatever Val feels like playing. But either way, we're playing against Kronos and Anderland, who are going to be using the 3rd Fallschirmjäger and 91st Luftlandr, respectively. So this is a map where I haven't played on it in quite a while, so I'm not entirely sure where the fastest places to deploy are from. So I was actually testing this out in this game. It's not exactly the best idea to test things out in a ranked setting, but this didn't particularly matter as it's just sort of deployment. But I just wanted to find out which roads are faster heading up the map so that you can get to places quicker. But let's just speed things up. I'll get my deployment down and we can talk through what units I'm using and where they're going at the start of the game. So this game I basically chose to show to you guys because there was some really sort of fun parts and some really like crazy stuff that I haven't seen in a long time. So bringing this gameplay to you, this replay, was really something I wanted to show that sort of thing off. I'm tucking up all my units here actually. This is actually something that I should point out, and I have done in the past, but you can see here all of my units are very compact. What I do is I give them all their orders. And then what you can do is you can click and then hold left click and drag them to like a different location. And you can basically tuck them up right next to each other if you zoom right in and do it. And that just saves you that little bit extra time on deployment and allows your units to, say for example here, if I deployed them here, it would take a little bit longer to get around this corner. But if they're already deployed on this stretch here, then all they have to do is go straight. And it does make a difference, it does make quite a big difference in getting to the front line before your opponents. Especially with like Jeeps for example, look how quickly this guy gets all the way up this road towards the centre house. Now I'm going to be putting a unit in the house there. I'm going for the 50 cal and command infantry combo just to try and take the house, but it doesn't particularly work out too well, as I will show you in a second. But in general, units just spreading up. I've got a unit of airborne engineers, airborne rifles and pathfinders along with a command infantry heading to this spot just here to push through the orchard. I've got a 50 cal and a command unit heading to this compound to engage the infantry with that, and then I've got a mortar carrier and I think it was just another command infantry or something, but either way just another couple units behind. These units all spreading out. I've got an AT gun watching this centre road along with a airborne unit to cover the tree line. Over on this left side, this is where things start to get crazy. Val's going to be bumping straight into Kronos. And Kronos is going to be bumping into Val's stormtroopers. Now stormtroopers, they have the 22 HE power grenades, and his stormtroopers absolutely carved to pieces these Fallschirmjägers, and not only that, but he's making them all surrender. They literally, that was like 2 squads of Fallschirmjägers. We're going to see like the AT gun go down there, and then the stormtroopers just doing crazy work. But what's going to happen is now Val's stormtroopers are going to get surrendered alongside the command unit there. Val's Ram takes out the L6, but that was just like the craziest engagement at the start of the game there. I don't think either player wanted to concede. Val just hoping for the best. In the centre, 2 Fallschirmjägers actually appear and take out my 50 cal and my airborne leader. My 50 cal did get into the house first, but the Fallschirmjägers were so close by then that they jumped out, they invaded the house and killed the 50 cal at close range. So that was the first mental engagement. Val's also going to take out an L6 here as well. And that's going to open up a huge front on this left flank, giving us 52%, 53%, and so on and so forth.
Enemy spotted.
Val in general, he actually came out very much on top out of that engagement because his infantry is worth a lot less. He only lost 3 squads, and he killed 2 L6s alongside the Fallschirmjägers and so on. So he's got a really good position. He's bringing up reinforcing infantry, and we've got this huge gap in their line, 54% territory lead. Moving up my Jeep still with the mortar, and I've got the M3 gun there. Alpha Blitz is going to get destroyed as it tries to reinforce, thanks to the airborne engineers. And we're going to see my airborne rifles and pathfinders and so on engage them spear through. 50 cal is going to be engaging Fallschirmjägers and the MG34 further back. And what I could have probably done here is use the mortar to like smoke off the Panzer 35 and the MG34 maybe, and allowed the 50 cal to continue attacking the Fallschirmjägers. But I'm bringing up a truck here with the airborne rifles. I'm going to be trying to get the airborne rifles into cover, but as soon as the Fallschirmjägers reload, they're going to absolutely mow down 5 of that squad, so crazy stuff. I'm going to be trying to get the smoke on target here just to cover them off, and that's exactly what I do. So the 50 cal died, but just going to be trying to save the airborne rifles there. Airborne engineers are rushing down the Ersatztruppen to try and get the napalm on target, and as soon as they do, Ersatztruppen are going to surrender. M3 gun manages to pick off the enemy tank there, but we are going to be coming up against a Stö, so got to be careful that my airborne rifles don't get killed by that. So in the centre, just holding here, we're currently running a +2 as Val's brought up some rifles to take advantage of this big old gap in the enemy lines. With the Fallschirmjäger player losing so many units early on, it really left him with not enough to cover his entire front line, and that's why this has appeared. Either way, airborne rifles are coming up and are going to be engaging the Fallschirmjägers in the open here. Going to be forcing my ones to fall back again, as the Fallschirmjägers did open up. That's just going to cause a continuing engagement in the centre. Over on the left side, Val's using his Wasp alongside the Stormtroopers to push up against the Fallschirmjägers, which was really nice. There is a Pack 41 waiting. That's only got 8 AP power. Still got to be careful that doesn't kill it off his ram, but he's got that smoked off at the moment, thanks to the Stormtroopers. The Stormtroopers are just going to be trying to run forwards and take that out, most likely. Meanwhile over here, I'm being pushed pretty heavily by Anderland. Anderland's pushing us with the Fallschirmjägers. He's got some Ersatz there and some Fallschirmjägers. Fallschirmjägers were engaging the airborne rifles, and then we're going to be seeing the Fallschirmjäger try and run down my M3 gun. I have an airborne engineer squad on the way. On this right side though, I've pushed all the way through the orchard still. Airborne rifles are still alive. Mortar fire is coming in, or it's probably just like some artillery there. Engagement still happening here. Airborne rifles versus Fallschirmjägers. Nobody's really dying from that engagement, which was kind of strange. Over on the left side, we're going to see a HS-129 and B1 come in and take out the Wasp. It didn't actually take out the Ram, and that was quite lucky for Val. Either way, I am going to be buying myself a Mustang, and I'm going to be going for that kill just to make sure that Val does not lose his Ram to that. I'm going to be bringing up 2 mortars to the centre. This was a little bit of a mistake. I bought one and then I brought in another one thinking I hadn't already bought one, but I had. So here comes a Mustang to go for the shot onto the HS-129. Now HS-129, or the P-51, really, really fast. Just manages to get the HS-129 before it passes it. And then we're going to be going in for the kills onto the Storch here. Storch was already evacuating though, and I didn't manage to pick up that kill. Either way, airborne engineers coming in to the bottom side of the trees here to take on the Fallschirmjäger. Mortars are helping engage the Fallschirmjägers and pin those down. So there goes the Fallschirmjäger. Good stuff. But we're actually going to be forced to surrender first. Second squad going to be coming up to take its place. Just going to be continuing to fast move those. Initially the airborne engineers were actually pinned down by the Fallschirmjäger you saw on the right side. Here we see the Stuart 42, and that's going to be watching as the airborne engineer take out the Fallschirmjäger. My mortar here still engaging the opponents as they approach. As that's trooping pushing through towards my pathfinders, so I'm going to get my airborne engineers to respond to that. Getting my Mustangs to come down and strafe the opponents. There's no way that my opponents both have, you know, Phase A fighters at this point, especially after they brought in a HS-129. So I'm basically taking full advantage of that where I can. Airborne engineers running forwards to try and make more Ersatztruppen and surrender where I can. But what's going to happen is they're going to get pinned down by multiple units. Airborne engineers hit these Fallschirmjägers as they push across the open, but yeah, I'm forced to just run from this. Airborne engineers, they're pinned down. I don't want my airborne leader to die to the Fallschirmjägers, so yeah, just trying to run as fast as I can, but mortar comes in there, helps pin them down. Yeah, need to get them out of there. Still focusing on the airborne engineers here. Fallschirmjägers come in to try and kill my airborne engineers, but I make them surrender almost instantly thanks to the napalm. Studer 42 is pushing up to get shots onto my airborne engineers, but I don't think they quite anticipated the fact that I still had this airborne rifles here, so they're going to be getting their bazooka on target, and goodbye to the Studer 42. The mortar squads in the centre still helping with the Fallschirmjägers briefly. His airborne rifles haven't really been taking too much damage. What I ended up doing was switching around the airborne rifles in this building so that the more replenished unit of airborne rifles could continue forwards. On this left side, Val's completely pushed through. After that initial engagement from the Fallschirmjäger player, he's not held back. Val's just continued to push on through, and has really made good use of his advantage at the start of the game there. I'm continuing to have quite an interesting engagement here. We've got another unit of infantry being forced to surrender. Mortars are opening up again for another volley. And I'm pushing over halfway on my side as well, so that's giving us +2, mainly due to Val doing such a good job on this left side. And now I'm just going to be trying to get rid of these Fallschirmjägers in the centre, because if I can, then we gain even more ground. And I've still got this mortar going here as well, which was quite interesting. It's just in the middle of all my infantry. I was literally anticipating an off-map artillery strike coming in and killing all of it, but so far so good. Airborne engineers just going to pin down another ersatz. And that's pretty much all that was happening. His airborne rifles getting pinned down by the Fallschirmjägers. This is like ideal engagement range for the Fallschirmjägers, so airborne rifles are getting deleted. Airborne engineers, they're not going to be able to get into range to use their napalm. So I'm just going to try and mortar the Fallschirmjägers there and charge them down with the Pathfinder. And I do manage to make them fall back, as you can see, due to the front line changing there. So I'm going to stop the mortar firing, try and find the Fallschirmjägers with the Pathfinder squad, and there I do. And just to make sure that I can kill them without my Pathfinders being taken out, I move the Pathfinders into the building and just let them continuously fire the Fallschirmjägers until they kill them. So Fallschirmjägers are going to be forced to fall back there, but I've got the Pathfinders into a nice position to give me some recon information. In the centre, I did manage to make one of the Fallschirmjäger squads surrender, and then the one in the house, I believe, fell back. So I'm free to just move up the airborne rifles here, and that's just pretty much a standard push. Use mortars to pin down your opponent, then push up with infantry. That's pretty much all it is. Over on the left side, we're going to be seeing Cronus once again coming up with multiple units. Stug 3, Fallschirmjägers. Fallschirmjäger was actually taken out there by the stormtroopers, and now what's happening is rifles are starting to pin down the Fallschirmjägers. We're also going to be seeing a bombing strike come in from the Mosquito, and look at what happens. Val, once again, is going to force a mass surrender. He's getting his ram on the move. And he's just going to run up. One squad goes down. Just continuously making these surrender moves throughout the game. Fallschirmjäger's getting into position to kill his ram, but as soon as they do, or try to, they're going to get hit by the rifles again. And, well, as soon as these Fallschirmjägers get pinned down, all that's going to happen is the rest of these squads are going to surrender. So pretty much just waiting for that to happen right now. Val's running at them with the rifles, running at them with the stormtroopers, pushing them with the ram, going for this mass surrender play again. Got to make it happen. He's got to make it happen. Got to be careful of these Fallschirmjägers. But if he can get rid of those, then he can definitely make them surrender. And there goes one squad. There's a unit of 3 Fallschirmjägers. These Fallschirmjägers are actually struggling to use their Panzerfaust to kill the ram. And I was surprised that Val didn't continue there. But in general, just pinning down all those units again and making them surrender really worked out. Losing his ram did force him back a little there, but either way, really decent job. So I'm just going to be pushing through on the right side now. With me taking control of this house, I'm able to push through in the center. I'm also pushing forward some engineers. And these are going to be engaging the Fallschirmjäger there. And I've still got air superiority with the P-51s. It's actually bringing in HS-129. And Val's already got 2 Spitfires in the sky, so HS-129 is going to be shot down there. Not entirely sure why that was purchased, because there isn't too many targets on the ground. Except from these command carriers, maybe. But either way, that's not really worth bringing in a HS-129 at this point, especially when they are so far behind. Either way, +2 in our favour. And just continuing with the airborne engineer engagements through these tree lines, as well as moving engineers through to take on the ersatz and so on. 50 cal is going to find a spare troop squad and mow them down very quickly, and in comes my off-map, and that's basically what I've been waiting for. We're currently about 5 minutes into Phase B. Finally bring up some off-map. They're going to be using their off-map against me, but they actually miss quite significantly. Oh, these airborne engineers, they're being pinned down by MG34 in the building there, and the IG-18. We're going to be seeing the engineers be pinned down there by the off-map artillery briefly. But in general, game's pretty much over. Val's continuously pushing through here, and you can see that he's managed to make that MG squad surrender and made even more ground, so 65% territory. Off-map comes in, takes out the Fallschirmjäger, takes out some reinforcing units coming up there. Pins down this Fallschirmjäger. Did a nice amount of damage. And now I'm going to be bringing in some off-map onto the IG-18, the MG-34 there. That's just to allow these engineers to continue to push up. Again, off-map coming in from our opponents. That's going to be this Schwimmwagen back here. And well, yeah, since this house is destroyed, I'm going to just be bypassing that entirely and finding myself a Fallschirmjäger squad in the open. Airborne engineers killing Fallschirmjägers as they try and come through the tree line there. And my airborne rifles are in heavy cover, Fallschirmjägers in light cover, but because of the engagement range, Fallschirmjägers are actually still going to do a lot of damage here. By the way, off-map comes in again. It's going to kill off the MG-34 and the IG-18. It also manages to kill off the Flak 36 at the back there, so a lot of damage done, and now some more reinforcements coming in. Fallschirmjägers, Grenadiers, Fallschirmjäger, and the Flak 36. We're going to be seeing Val come in with 2 Spitfire Mark 9s for the bombing strike. And I've actually brought in my own artillery here. You can see Anderland's actually bringing in his Schwimmwagen for one last strike. For some reason, Val's Mosquitoes decided not to attack their targets, because a bombing strike onto all of these infantry would have been really nice. But yeah, my off-map's just coming in. It's going to be a little bit too late. 10 seconds left. Val's bombing strikes obviously made them all fall back, so they're all running away from that, but he's going to come in with his Mosquitoes nonetheless and go for that bombing strike. That's going to do a lot of damage to those infantry. One of the strikes does end up finishing off one of the Grenadier squads, but the Fallschirmjägers are going to survive, and well, since we've pretty much beaten them back, our opponents surrender, and after 17 minutes and 16 seconds, we are victorious. The main reason I wanted to show you guys this game was mainly due to those surrender plays that Val pulled off. Those stormtroopers bumping into the units at the start of the game and making all those guys surrender was absolutely incredible. I would say just in general, be more conservative. It's better off that you concede some ground and keep all your troops alive than, you know, run them all into the enemy and lose so many points like that. I think our opponent just overcommitted to that town and didn't realise how quickly Val would be there to stop him. Then again, later on, he just got himself surrounded, wasn't covering his flanks properly. I mean, it was hard for him. He was playing Fallschirmjäger, or Fallschirmjäger, and all he had was Fallschirmjägers, right, as his infantry, at least for Phase A. And that makes it incredibly hard for him to spread out and cover his flanks and the rest of the map, and that's why that massive bubble appeared. He just couldn't afford the points. I think maybe if he just sort of consolidated, you know, conceded a +1 for the chance to be able to push back later in the game, but didn't happen. Kept trying to push into Val, didn't work out, and that's just how it ended up. On my side of things, my opponent played very, very well, but I used the terrain to my advantage where I could, and the engineers were winning out most of those engagements. So if we go to the team perspective, myself and Val both did relatively well. 1,260 kills to 480 losses for myself, 1,300 kills to 400 losses for Val. So we both did about the same amount of work. Obviously I didn't take as much ground, but Val was able to take full advantage of the amount of kills he got at the start of the game, so that's why he got so much further up. As for kills, Airborne Engineers taking out a couple of Ersatztruppen, doesn't even pay themselves off, but Airborne Engineers here taking out Fallschirmjäger and Fallschirmjägers, nice. P-51 shooting down the HS-129, not entirely sure. I mean, HS-129 at the start of the game, fair enough, if we don't have fighters, but it's very likely that 101st will have fighters. If not fighters, at least Mustang bombers. This AB rifles taking out the Stör-42 was great. We're going to be seeing the Airborne rifles take out the Fallschirmjägers there as well. This M3 gun popped a Fallschirmjäger before it dropped out. Naval Battery took out quite a nice amount of units. A couple of Flak 36s, IG-18, Fallschirmjäger, MG-34 and Grenadier Squad. And this one took out, again, some nice supporting units, MG-34, Pak 36, IG-18, Flak 36. So, yeah, in general, it was mainly my off-map that got me the majority of the kills, but my infantry was trading very well, and that was basically the story of the game. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I just thought, you know, the surrender things were really, really cool. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.